Have you ever wondered why some men can give a woman a simple hug, and she instantly feels safe, desired, and connected to him, while other men hug the same woman and she can't wait to pull away? What if I told you that the difference isn't about your age, your looks, or even how long you've known her? It's about four specific things that happen in those few seconds of physical contact that either ignite her attraction or completely kill it. And here's the thing most men over 50 get wrong about hugging. They think it's just a polite gesture, a formality, something you do to say hello or goodbye. But for a woman, a hug is a test. It's her way of reading your confidence, your emotional presence, and yes, your intentions. In the next 9 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to pass that test. These aren't manipulative tricks. These are insights backed by psychology and human behavior that will transform the way women respond to you. Let me tell you about Michael. He's 56, recently divorced, and getting back into dating after 20 years. He told me about a moment that confused him. He'd been on 3 wonderful dates with a woman named Claire, great conversation, laughter, genuine connection. At the end of their 3rd date, he hugged her across the center console of his car. She smiled, said goodnight, but something shifted. She became distant over text, eventually told him she just wanted to be friends. Michael couldn't understand it. Everything had been going so well. But here's what he didn't realize: that hug told Claire everything she needed to know. It was stiff, uncertain, over in a flash. It communicated hesitation and a lack of masculine presence. She didn't consciously think about it, but her body registered it. And in that moment, attraction dimmed. This happens more often than you think, especially for men who have been out of the game for a while or who have forgotten that physical touch is a language women speak fluently. The good news: once you understand what that language is saying, you can change everything with just 4 deliberate actions during a hug. So let's break down exactly what those 4 things are and why they work. First thing you need to do when you hug a woman is commit fully. No half hugs, no side hugs, no tentative arms barely making contact. When you go in for a hug, you need to close the distance completely, chest to chest, arms wrapped around her with intention. Here's why this matters. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that physical touch, specifically hugging, triggers the release of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. But here's the catch: the quality of the touch matters. A weak, uncertain hug doesn't produce the same neurochemical response as a confident, full-body embrace. When you commit to the hug, when you pull her in close without hesitation, you're signaling confidence and safety. Women are biologically wired to seek men who make them feel protected, and that starts with how you hold them. Think about it this way: when you hug someone you truly care about, someone you're excited to see, you don't hold back, you embrace them completely. That's the energy you need to bring every time, even if it's just a casual greeting, because women notice. They feel the difference between a man who's unsure of himself and a man who knows what he wants. Commitment in a hug translates to commitment in everything else. It tells her you're present, you're engaged, and you're not afraid to take up space in her world. Now here's the second thing, and this is where most men completely miss the mark. You need to be the last one to let go. Not in a creepy way, not holding on for an awkwardly long time, but just a fraction of a second longer than she does. This is subtle but incredibly powerful. When you release too early, it signals discomfort, like you're in a rush to get the physical contact over with. But when you hold just a moment longer, it creates a brief pause where she registers your presence, your warmth, your masculine energy. It's in that extra second that attraction deepens. Research from the University of California found that physical touch lasting longer than 3 seconds activates different neural pathways than brief contact. Longer touch creates emotional resonance, a sense of connection that lingers even after the physical contact ends. So when you're the last to let go, you're giving her nervous system time to respond, to relax into you, to associate you with comfort and desire. It's a tiny detail, but it's the difference between being just another guy she hugged and being the man she can't stop thinking about. And here's what I want you to do right now. If you're getting value from this, if you can already see how these insights could change your interactions with women, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Because we dive deep into female psychology on this channel, giving you the tools and understanding that most men never learn. You deserve to feel confident and attractive at any age, and I'm here to show you exactly how. Alright, let's keep going. The third thing you must do during a hug is adjust your grip based on her response. This is about emotional intelligence and calibration. Not every hug should feel the same because not every woman or every moment is the same. If she melts into you, if you feel her body relax and lean in, that's your cue to hold her a little tighter to let the embrace deepen. If she's more reserved, if there's a slight stiffness, you match her energy but still maintain that confident presence. The key is to lead without forcing. A fascinating study from the journal Emotion found that people can accurately detect emotional states through touch alone. Women are especially attuned to this. When you adjust your grip, when you respond to her body language in real time, you're demonstrating empathy and awareness. You're showing her that you're not just going through the motions, you're actually paying attention to her. And that level of attentiveness is incredibly attractive. It shows maturity, emotional depth, and respect. These are qualities that matter even more as we get older. Qualities that set you apart from men who are just physically present but emotionally absent. Here's a scenario. Imagine you're hugging a woman you've been dating casually. She's had a rough day, you can tell from her texts. When you hug her, she doesn't just accept it, she sinks into you, her head resting briefly on your chest. That's the moment you hold tighter, not aggressively but protectively. You let her know without words that you've got her, that she can let her guard down. That one hug can shift the entire dynamic of your relationship because you read the moment and responded with strength and sensitivity. Now the fourth thing, and this might surprise you, is where you place your hands. Most men default to the mid-back or shoulders, safe, neutral zones. But if you want to create a spark, if you want her to feel your presence on a deeper level, you need to be more intentional. One hand should rest on her mid to lower back, the other on her shoulder blade or upper back. This positioning does two things. First, it brings her closer, eliminating empty space between you. Second, it's subtly more intimate without crossing into inappropriate territory. The lower back is an area of the body that women associate with romantic touch. It's different from how a friend or family member would hug her. When you place your hand there with confidence, you're quietly communicating that this isn't just a friendly gesture, there's attraction here, there's chemistry. And if she's interested, her body will respond. She might press closer, her arms might tighten around you, or she might linger just a bit longer. These are signs that you're doing it right. But here's the important part. This only works if you've built rapport and there's mutual interest. You can't use these techniques on a stranger and expect magic. Context matters. These four things, committing fully, being the last to let go, adjusting your grip, and intentional hand placement, they amplify existing attraction. They turn a good moment into a memorable one. Let me tell you what happened with Michael after I walked him through these principles. He started dating again, and this time he was intentional about physical touch. He met a woman named Sandra at a book club. Their first date went well, and at the end of the night, instead of the awkward car hug, he walked her to her door. When he hugged her, he committed, pulled her in close, held just a moment longer, adjusted when she leaned into him, and placed his hand on her lower back. She later told him that hug was the moment she knew there was something real between them. It wasn't just friendly, it was electric. And it all came down to those four deliberate choices. Here's another thing I want you to think about. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever had a hug with someone that just felt different, where you knew in that moment something shifted? I'd love to hear your stories because these moments are universal. We've all experienced them, but most of us don't realize we can create them intentionally. So why does all of this matter so much, especially for men over 50? Because at this stage of life, you bring something to the table that younger men don't: depth, experience, emotional maturity. But if your physical presence doesn't match that inner strength, women won't feel it. They need to sense your confidence, not just hear it. And a hug is one of the fastest, most visceral ways to communicate who you are. Think about the vision of the man you want to be. A man who walks into a room and commands quiet respect. A man who makes a woman feel seen, valued, and desired without saying a word. A man who isn't trying to prove anything because he knows his worth. That man exists inside you right now. These four actions during a hug are just the beginning of stepping into that version of yourself. It's about presence, intentionality, and understanding the unspoken language of attraction. And here's the beautiful part. When you get this right, when you master the art of physical connection, everything else becomes easier. Conversations flow, tension builds naturally, relationships deepen, because you're no longer guessing or second-guessing. You're moving through the world with clarity and confidence. Before we wrap up, I want you to do something. Watch this video all the way to the end because I'm going to leave you with one final thought that ties all of this together. And if you haven't already, smash that like button. It helps more men discover this content, and honestly, every guy deserves to understand what we've talked about today. Here's the truth that nobody tells you. Attraction isn't logical. It's not about saying the right things or having the perfect resume. It's about moments, small, fleeting moments where a woman feels something she can't quite put into words. A hug can be one of those moments. Four simple things: committing fully, being the last to let go, adjusting your grip, intentional hand placement. That's all it takes to turn a forgettable interaction into something she remembers, something that makes her want more of you. So the next time you hug a woman, whether it's someone you're dating, someone you're interested in, or even someone you've known for years, be deliberate, be present, show her through your touch what words can't fully express. Because when you do these four things when you hug a woman, you're not just making physical contact, you're creating connection, chemistry, and desire. And that, my friend, is how you make her want you more. If you found this valuable, if you're ready to level up your understanding of female psychology and become the man women are drawn to, subscribe to this channel. We're just getting started, and there's so much more to explore. Until next time, step into your power, trust yourself, and remember, you are never too old to be the man she can't resist.